Okay, so this is going to be my updated makeup inventory. I did one last year, mid-year, and then I did one in December or early part of January. I'm going off the numbers that were at the very beginning of this year. I was supposed to do an update either every quarter or every trimester of this year, and obviously we're halfway through the year. So what I'm going to do from this point on is I'm going to give you a 6-month update today, and then I'm going to do another update hopefully in 3 months, probably at the end of August, at the first part of September, and then again at the very end of the year. If you are looking for a makeup collection where you want to see all of the items in my makeup collection, I'll actually link my makeup collection that I did last summer, and it's in 2 parts. I go through incredible detail on every single item that's in my makeup collection. If that's what you're looking for, that's not what this video is. I've went through and I've added up the numbers of the products that are in each category. That's what this video is. So, starting off with my face primer, in January I had 2 of them. I finished one off, so currently I just have one. And really, some of these I had put a number on what I was expecting to have, you know, at the very end of this entire project panning experience and what my goals were. Some of them I have numbers for, like a goal number that I would like to reach, and some of them I don't. And with face primers, I really only have one of them that I enjoy using. That's the Mercier Radiance face primer. So, you know, I really don't see myself purchasing any other primers in the future. I might get one as a sample or something, and that would increase my number, but I would never go out and purchase another primer. Onto BB creams, CC creams, tinted moisturizers. I just kind of lumped that whole category together, and in January I had 6 of them, and currently I have 4. By the way, I do include like deluxe size samples that are about this big of, say, a BB cream or something. So I just kind of wanted to give a heads up on what my numbers include for some of these products. It's not just the full size items. Realistically, I would like to have maybe 3 of them. I do love the Pond's Luminous Finish BB cream, but that's been discontinued, so after I go through any back stock that I have, I really don't see myself going out and purchasing those items. Onto foundations, I had 4 in January, I have 4 right now, and my goal number was 4, so that one's kind of stayed consistent. Even though I've made a couple purchases and I finished up a couple products, it kind of evens itself out. For face powders, I had 7 in January, now I have 4 of them, and 4 is a good number for me. So I actually had broken it down into loose powders and pressed powders. So in January I had 4 loose, right now I have 2. And with pressed powders I had 3 in January, and now I have 2. Moving on to my concealers. I really enjoy testing out different concealers, but the main ones that I absolutely fall in love with seem to be the ones that last forever. But I have finished off a handful of concealers since January, and I've purchased some too. So with my concealers, I had 6 in January, right now I have 4, and a number that I would like to have would be 3 of them. For bronzers, I decided to include contour powders with that too, so I didn't have to add a separate category. I usually use those items in the same areas on my face. So bronzers and contours, I had 7, right now I have 6, and I would like to eventually get that down to 3 or 4. For cream blush, I had 5 in January, right now I have 1, and I would enjoy having 3 or less in my collections just because I have so many blush products. That's one of my major weaknesses, is blush, and there's just no way that I could get through a whole bunch of cream blushes with all of my powder blushes that I'm trying to go through. So that's my reasoning behind that one. For powder blush, I did a really big kind of decluttering a couple months ago because there was the traveling makeup box swap that went around, and whatever wasn't chosen out of the box by the very end was donated to Bethany's church. I'll link that video down in the description box too. I thought that that would be a really great time to weed out any blushes that I had in my collection that were in really great condition and that somebody could use, you know, not ones that had pan showing or anything. But I had 41 in January. Right now I have 31, and my goal last year was to get down to 30, so that's awesome. For highlighters, I had 10. Currently I have 8, and I'd like to get that down to 6. For my eyebrow pencils, I don't really feel like I should have a set number on my eyebrow pencils just because I only have a few that really go with my dark hair. So there's a lot of brow pencils that have a lot of red in them, I've found. So I had 8 in January, right now I have 7, and I'm not going to put a number on a set limit of what I would like to have. For my clear balms, lip balms, lip treatments, that kind of thing, just the clear ones, I had 12 in January, right now I have 9, and eventually I'd like to get that down to 5. For my tinted lip balms, now I had a little bit of an adjustment with this category too, because in my lipsticks I just included everything lip related, like the chubby pencils and everything, and a lot of my chubby lipstick pencils are actually considered tinted lip balms because they have very little color payoff. So that category is actually the only one that's actually increased by quite a bit. So my tinted lip balms, they were at 11 in January, and now they're at 20. So I'm not really going to put a number on that just because I'd like to, you know, test the waters in that category a little bit more before I put a number on that one. With my mascaras, I had 36. And that was actually an improvement from the summer before. For some reason, I just seem to get mascara sample after mascara sample and free full-size ones, and I coupon a lot, so somehow I end up with a huge bin of mascaras. But I had 36 in January. Right now I have 31, and eventually I'd like to get that down to 10 because I really don't think that there's any need for me to have more than 10 mascaras in my collection. And just for a side note here, 24 of the 31 are unopened at the moment. For bottom lash mascaras, I decided to keep this category in, even though I don't think it's quite necessary anymore, but I had one then, now I have one, and it's not a necessity for me, so one bottom lash mascara or less than that, and I'd be happy. Moving on to some eyeliners. I broke them into 3 separate categories. I have a liquid eyeliner, gel, and pencil. So for my liquid eyeliners, I had 7. I got that down to 4. I've actually been going through those pretty quickly, surprisingly, and my goal on liquid eyeliners was 3. For my gel eyeliners, I did a little bit of a haul during the most recent VIB sale, and when I did that I picked up some items from a couple new MAC collections, and there were some of my gel eyeliners. That's where my gel eyeliners come from. They're all the MAC fluid lines. So I had 3 in January, right now I have 4, and I'd like to eventually get that down to 2 or 3. For pencil eyeliners, I had 24. Right now I have 20, which is super positive, and you know, in like a year or something, it'd be really great if I could get that down to 10. I have eyeshadow primers next. I don't really use the eyeshadow primers. This includes like the Too Faced Shadow Insurance or the Urban Decay Primer Potion. I had 4 of them. Right now I have 5, and that's only because I had a little deluxe size sample come with one of the palettes or something recently. I can't remember what that was from, but I didn't purchase anything. 1 or 2 is kind of my goal for eyeshadow primers. For the cream eyeshadow bases, and like the colored bases, in January I had 26, and right now I have 21. I decided to break that up into kind of the potted bases and the sticks. So for the kind of crayon eyeshadow sticks, I have 8 of those, and for the potted ones, like the Maybelline color tattoos, I have 13 of those. loose eyeshadow pigments. I had 5, right now I have 6. I think I got 1 in an Ipsy bag or something, and eventually I'd like to get that down to 4. Single eyeshadows, I had 34 of them. Right now I have 34, that number stayed exactly the same, and if I could finish off 4 of those to get down to 30, that's my goal number. Duos, trios, and quads. So I kind of lumped all of those into one single category here. I had 23, I'm down to 17. That was, I did declutter some of my Clinique eyeshadow quads and trios in that makeup swap, so those went to a better place, to somebody that has a little bit less eyeshadow so they can use them on a more frequent basis, so I'm very happy about that. I did actually give my mother some of my prized eyeshadow palettes, and there was a couple quads and trios that she received. Eventually I'd like to get down to maybe 15 or so, or a little bit lower, and I'd be happy with that. For my large eyeshadow palettes, I did include 2 of my large eyeshadow palettes to my mother as well, because she was trying to kind of get into eyeshadow a little bit, and since I'm panning a palette this year, I'm not dabbling in some of my favorite ones, so I let her have them. So I had 24, right now I have 19, and I'd like to get down to 18. I just took out lip primers entirely because I hadn't had one in January, and I don't have any at the moment either. So I'm just taking that whole category out. Lip liners, I had 7 in January, I have 7 now, and 3 or 4 is all that I would really like. I had mentioned that I wanted a clear, a red lip liner, and an orange lip liner, like a neon orange, and I really feel like that's all I need. Now we're starting to get into some of my trouble areas. Blush is a crazy area for me. Mascaras, even though I don't go out and purchase a ton of mascaras, they're a trouble area, and lip gloss and lipstick are pretty bad for me too. Those are definitely my danger areas. So lip glosses, I had 61. Now I'm down to 54, and I'd like to get to 30 sometime in the near future. Lipsticks, I just wanted to make a note really quick, because before I did an inventory, I was certain that I had about a third as many lipsticks that I actually did. So I highly encourage you, before you pass judgment on anybody's inventory numbers, go into your own collection, count up what you have, and it might shock you. You're either probably going to be really relieved, or you're going to be absolutely horrified. So with my lipsticks, I had 169 in January. I'm down to 123, which is super positive, and I'd like to get that down to 100. I know I'm not going to do that in the next 3 months, but you know, the next year I would like to get to 100 or less. I had added in perfumes and nail polishes at the last update. So perfumes, I had 39, right now I have 27. And that was including like little mini perfumes, as well as roller balls, as well as the big full-size ones like a 1.7 or a 3.4 fluid ounce. So, you know, eventually 20 would be like an ideal number for me, just because I have so many different scents. Onto the nail polish, I had 122, I have 110 now, and 75 would be a nice number for me, I think. I'm doing a project polish right now. I'll link the videos down in the description box on that too, but anyway, that is my inventory update after 6 months. So let me know if you guys have done one of these, what your thoughts were on your numbers, and hopefully I should have another update in about 3 months. But that is it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.